Hi, everyone. Welcome back to Bufnagle the podcast, where we explore entertaining and enlightening discussions of the adventure of life and all things good. From science and technology to history and philosophy to leadership and success. We hope to give you a better understanding of the world and skills for everyone to pursue their own adventure.
Hi, everybody, and welcome back to Bufnagle the podcast, where we talk about all things good in the pursuit of the adventure of life. I am Rafe, and I have the distinct pleasure of having not one, but two big brain smart heads on the call with me today, and it should be it promises to be a fantastic show because double big brain smart heads means double the Bufnagle goodness. So before I can get there, though, remember, we are grateful for our great listeners. They made us a global top 10% podcast. As usual, you can reach us at bufnagle.com. Remember, share the love, share the buff, give us a 5-star review, subscribe, like, hit the smiley stars, whatever those happy little go-lucky buttons are on your podcast machine. Be sure to hit them and send good vibes our way. Tell a friend to listen and you will get a free episode. And remember, if you look in the show notes, there's a little link you can click to actually send me a coffee, which would be a great, great thing if you would like to do such a thing. We have two big brain smart heads with us today. And this hasn't happened in a long time. The last time this combination actually happened was an episode in November of 2022, nearly 2 full years ago. I looked this up and I have data to back it up. Our first big brain smart head is, because ladies first, our dear friend, Sarah Schutte is here with us again. She is a writer and a podcast person extraordinaire. She has done 2 episodes with us, one of them discussing food and such things, one of them discussing stories and piloting and all sorts of wonderful things. So we're glad to have Sarah back again. Sarah, how are you?
I'm doing very well. I'm very glad to be back. Thank you for inviting me.
Well, it was our pleasure. And the other big brain smart head is a big brain smart artist that is kind of drifting back into our lives a little bit, which is a wonderful thing for us. None other than my former co-host, my son Zach, is here with us. Zach, how are you tonight?
I'm doing pretty good, just not hanging out in the stuffy, weird basement and surrounded by paint cans.
Yeah, well, that's how it is. Sometimes the offices get to be that way. So, all right. Anyway, our big plan here tonight is traditions. I guess traditions revolving around food, revolving around celebrations, family celebrations, and most notably because they are coming up, Thanksgiving and Christmas, which are right around the corner. When this drops, they will be right around the corner. They may be even on the same street at that point. We are getting very close. And I know a lot of us think about Thanksgiving with regard to turkey dinners, football games after turkey dinners, pumpkin pie, and all sorts of wonderful things. But when I think about guests we've had on that have talked about cooking and such things, Sarah definitely comes to mind. Sarah, is this a big deal for you and the Schutte crew?
Yes, Thanksgiving is a big deal, though you said pumpkin pie. I used to like pumpkin pie, but it has fallen out of favor with me. I have not eaten pumpkin pie in years. So
is that a taste thing?
It's a taste thing, and actually, no one in my family really likes it. We never make it. So
please tell me you do not make sweet potato pie?
We do not make sweet potato pie. My dad loves the sweet potato casserole, though, so he will make that sometimes.
I think that Zach knows this. That I think sweet potatoes are imposter foods. They sneak in and they try to take the place of other things. You're like, oh wow, that looks like really good pumpkin pie, and then you eat it and you're like, oh wait, that was sweet potatoes, and they're like, ha 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 ha, I fooled you again.
Yeah, the only way I like sweet potatoes is in hash mixed with regular potatoes.
Yeah, I've come to do that. Zach, you do a lot of sweet potato-y things.
Yeah, because they taste good.
Yeah, well, they're kind of sweet, but
you just take some sweet potatoes, you chop it into quarters, you add some fun to it, cayenne, salt and pepper, happiness, put them in the air fryer for 18 minutes, and then you have crispy sweet potatoes.
Yeah, okay, I'll give you that. Yeah, but you always have to be warned. These are sweet potato fries because they're not going to be quite the same.
Okay, sweet potato fries and French fries are vastly different.
Yes.
Because you're dealing with, like, you're like, oh, I want fries, and then you get handed sweet potato fries. You're expecting a different profile.
See, that's the imposter piece. That's the thing about the imposters.
But here's the thing: if you're told, here are sweet potato fries, and you eat these and go like, these don't taste like fries, well, that's on you. You know they shouldn't taste like fries because you were told.
Well, but I think people sneak them in underneath you without, like in the old days, back before you would ask for a Coke, and sometimes the store wouldn't have Coke, they'd have Pepsi, and they'd sneak that in there and they'd try to give it to you. And now you know that, maybe you guys don't know this, but back in the day they would just do that. Coke was just kind of ubiquitous for any kind of cola. But now when you ask for a Coke, if they don't have Coke, they'll say, well, we have Pepsi, and then they'll say, okay, that's okay, or that's not okay. But it's kind of like that with sweet potatoes. Someday that's going to come down. That's going to be the standard. They say we have fries, and you're like, well, we have sweet potato fries, and then they'll have to warn you about that. So you don't do the pumpkin pie.
No pumpkin pie, but we do lots of other things. I often make my own cranberry sauce. My mom has experimented with different turkey recipes over the years, so we always have turkey. Though in our house, we're not crazy about turkey, so I know I'm committing like American sacrilege by saying I'd rather have ham.
Turkey's over. Oh, that's. I would rather have neither and have just something that tastes better than turkey or ham, which is.
Oh,
checks notes everything.
I mean, I like a good honey glazed ham, but that is sugar. So, but I will eat turkey. My mom cooks an excellent turkey. So,
does she ever? Have you ever deep fried the turkey?
Oh heavens, no.
Well, we spent a lot of time in Tennessee in the past 20 years of my life, and deep frying a turkey was a big thing.
Yeah.
I think partially because of the excitement that comes with the turkey fryer, the large pile of grease and the open flame.
Yes.
that makes it exciting.
That stresses me out.
Do you stuff the turkey? Do you do dressing?
We do dressing, but we do it separately because my mom likes it very crispy but moist in the middle. So she makes it completely separately, and she likes to make a lot of extra because then the next couple of days, she's really the only one that, I mean, the rest of us will eat stuffing, and I've come around to it big time over the years, but she will fry it up in butter the next couple of days. So we make lots and lots of stuffing, or as my grandmother called it, dressing.
Well, see, I think the difference is the stuffing actually goes inside the bird, and the dressing just sits around the outside, getting happy vibes from the outside.
Yes,
it's kind of dressed up.
That would make sense.
Okay. All right. So you prefer the ham?
I would,
but your mom does the turkey.
Oh yeah.
Do you ever do both?
No, we do ham for Easter.
Oh, okay.
Yep. So we'll do turkey. We'll do mashed potatoes. No bread because most of us. I mean, I like making rolls, but there's so much other food on the table, and bread just kind of fills you up. We'll probably do salad too. Good 7-layer salad. And then I want to make a cranberry tart this year. So
a cranberry tart.
Yes.
Do you, with the cranberry sauce, or is this in addition to the cranberry sauce?
This is in addition to the cranberry sauce because you can't have too many cranberries, in my opinion.
All right. Do you do the cranberry juice cocktail thing, or is it? It's all the solid cranberries, no juicing.
What do you mean?
Well, I mean, so you can buy cranberry juice, right? And you can drink that. Do you drink cranberry juice?
I definitely drink cranberry juice, but that's separate. I don't drink that usually on Thanksgiving, though I could do that now. I like mixing it with Sprite. It's very good. All
right. Okay. All right. There's a novel idea. There's one you can put in your new things to try this year is Sprite with cranberry. So now is this, do you do a whole big ordeal? Do people come over and they hang out for a couple days and you have a gigantic food fest on Thursday afternoon, late morning, early evening? What do you do?
It's kind of evolved over the years, but we'll start with the more recent ones. So we used to go to my mom's parents, but after they passed away, we do it all at my parents' home, which has been a lot of fun. So with kids at college and coming back, it's kind of like a homecoming, which is really nice. So we've got them coming back, and then my uncle and his kids will be up. So my cousins will be up. But they usually only come on Thursday. Every once in a while, I think they've stayed overnight into Friday, maybe a couple times. But there's so many of us that it always is a big party no matter where we are. So
and now you have sisters that have now have someone in tow with them. Is that accurate?
Yes, I have a sister who is married now, but she will not be at this. We'll be down 2 siblings for this Thanksgiving and Christmas, unfortunately, which is very sad. But there'll still be a lot of us at back at the house. So and to answer your other question, we like to eat our Thanksgiving dinner like early afternoon-ish. So yeah, that's when we aim to eat it. So
All right. Well, that's great. Now that takes us to Christmas then, which is that a big thing you guys do as well, or is that all there at mom's house, right?
yep,
The same ordeal?
all there at my parents' house, and it is a big deal. To me, Christmas is a bigger deal. I like Thanksgiving, but I like Christmas even more personally. Advent is my favorite season of the year by a long shot. Not Christmas, Advent. I love
Yes.
Christmas, but Advent is my favorite liturgical season. And all of the things that we did growing up for Advent really built up to Christmas, which we then celebrated at home, and we had everybody there. And Christmas was always like just for immediate family. And then within the last couple of years, after my uncle's wife passed away, he would and his kids would come up in the afternoon. We would all have dinner together, and we just absolutely loved that. So yeah.
Do you do like go out and hook up the sleigh to the horses and drag them around, or do you are there sightseeing flights as part of the ordeal this year coming up, or
No.
you're not responsible for entertaining the youngins or anything like
Nope,
that?
no responsibilities for that. We just lounge around all day on Christmas. We have a whole like routine for Christmas mornings. So yeah, we stay in our pajamas all day. There is no leaving the house at all. So yeah, it's very nice.
All right.
And we just
So
kinda sit around.
if you get snowed in, that's not a big deal.
Oh, heavens no. We go to mass the night before, and then yeah, we just hang out all day. Usually somebody has gotten a new game, or we'll pull out a game. So yeah, we could make opening presents let's see. Yeah, we could make opening up presents last all morning. So like until almost lunchtime.
Well, it's good to have lots of them and have lots of people with lots of them.
Yes.
Because
But actually we don't do tons of gifts. Each person maybe gets 4 or 5, but we go around, and it takes us a while, and then we take a break for breakfast, and yeah, it's really fun. And there's just a lot of us, so it will take.
Because you have a number of siblings, if I remember right.
Yes.
Not 10.
No, not 10. I'm
Not
the oldest
10.
of 7.
You're oldest of 7. Okay,
Oldest 7, so there'll be 5 of us there.
Well, that should be a grand old time, and it's nice to have it. It's nice to have it just with the immediate family, because sometimes those other things can make it extravagant. But I do like. I've always thought that Thanksgiving should have. Well, a lot of these celebrations should have people of varying ages, right? I mean, so everybody from very little to very old and everything in between. And I always like it if there's some sort of guest there. It certainly at Thanksgiving time that it gives you an opportunity to be gracious, whether you're a guest there or whether you're a host of somebody else. It's nice to, if there's somebody that can't make it, then they to their place, they can make it to yours. Zach, you did a lot of that, like when you were in school and stuff, doing Thanksgiving at I would say strange locales, but it's not really strange locales if it's your friends.
I mean, traveling locations of Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But you did that all through college and all through. I don't think, other than the time we had Thanksgiving around, around Harry's sofa table in his little tiny apartment in
So
Tacoma.
that was 2016, and then we did one in 2019 in Kansas City.
Oh, that's
and
right,
those are the only 2 I've done with you
in the last decade or so, right?
More so, yeah.
All right. That is an wow. Okay. Yeah. We all went to Tacoma and packed ourselves into Harry's, what was it, like his 350 square foot apartment, something like that.
Bigger than that.
That was when he was doing Army things, and it was, but that was fun, because what did we do that year, Zach? Do you remember? Yeah, I don't remember. See, that's when we watched Midnight in Paris for the first time.
Oh, it is.
Yeah. Have you seen that, Sarah?
I have not seen that.
Oh, see.
I know. Owen Wilson?
Yes, Owen Wilson. And it's there's lots of the depiction of Hemingway is out of this world. So you should watch it. You would enjoy it, probably because I bet you would know more of the people in there than we actually do. So, but it was
possibly
it was quite good.
Possibly. Well, I had my very first Thanksgiving that I did not celebrate at home was last year. So that was a big deal.
Were in Columbus where you've moved?
No, I was in Rome.
Ho, ho, ho.
I had Thanksgiving. They cooked us a full Thanksgiving meal at this restaurant in Rome, and it was absolutely fabulous.
And what were you doing? Were you on just touring or?
I was on pilgrimage for a week.
Oh, that's wonderful. And they saw that you were Americans and they say, we shall cook you turkey.
Yes, our pilgrimage guide he lives in Rome. And so he is a frequent guest at this particular restaurant. And he had asked them I can't remember how he phrased it, but he told them that he was bringing a group there for Thanksgiving. He brings groups there all the time. And they were like, oh, we're going to make you a Thanksgiving dinner. And he said, oh, no, that's not necessary. And they were like, no, we're making this for you. And they did, like, the full turkey. They put a bow tie on the turkey and brought it out for us.
Nice. So, and I assume that they got it reasonably correct?
It was delightful. We had a wonderful time.
Oh, that's great. Well, it's nice when those things work out that way. So this year you got Christmas at home.
Yes.
Right. And it will be the standard, you have ham at Easter. So what do you do? What do you do there for Christmas?
So for Christmas Eve, we do mashed potato pizza. Christmas Eve dinner is a big deal in our house, and we adore mashed potato pizza. I guess I see the looks. We get weird looks about
it's
all
a thing.
Time.
Those are words I've never put together like that.
Really?
So,
you guys are from the Midwest. How have you never heard of this?
Well,
we're not from the Midwest.
Well, I'm from Wisconsin.
You're from the Midwest. I'm from everywhere.
Yeah, Zach's but you're kind of from Tennessee in a loose sense.
Okay, Tennessee's not the Midwest, but yeah, no, it's literally what it sounds like. My mom makes her own pizza crust, and we make mashed potatoes, and then you bake the crust, and you put the mashed potatoes on it, and then you put cheddar cheese and caramelized onions and roasted mushrooms and bacon on top, and it's
so fabulous. I got lots of questions. So we got
go for it.
So you take a normal pizza crust.
Yep.
Okay, so are we doing like a pan pizza, or are we doing like a sheet pizza, or are we doing
pizza.
Okay. So we have pizza crust on the sheet, normal pizza rolled out, all those other things, and then you take. Is mashed potatoes the sauce base, or is this so we have.
Yep. Do you put I'm imagining like an inch and a half. Of
I think there's a better. Okay,
that's not it, right?
I haven't tried this ever at all in my life, but I spend a lot of time making pizza. I've been I've made the best homemade pizza of all time, according to my brother-in-law.
That is true.
Who he is? Yeah, brother-in-law. So I that's a pretty. And he's a pretty,
He's a connoisseur of pizza. He has a map at home of different pizza shops he's been at around Indianapolis.
And the ranking, and if they're bad, then he takes that part of the map out. Like it doesn't even exist.
Awesome.
Yeah. But okay, so I'm okay. So we're just gonna go with I like my cast iron skillet because it's a cast iron skillet and it's like the greatest thing ever invented since sliced bread. Or was invented before?
No, it's before sliced bread.
Okay,
yeah.
So so it's the greatest invention of all time. So I'm thinking that we just make mashed potatoes. We put the mashed potatoes down as the base, as the crust, and then everybody gets a little quadrant, and then you just build up your little, mashed potato heaven, and then you get like a little crispy mashed potato bits, and then you get like maybe some gravy on top, or you go mashed potatoes, you put gravy on as the pseudo version of a sauce, and then you put fun things on top, or you take the potatoes out entirely and you just do Christmas Eve pizza.
Yeah, but you're missing the best part, which is the mashed potatoes.
Yeah, and then on the side of the pizza you have mashed potatoes.
No. That would be too much. Because there's no tomatoes involved with this particular pizza. So
well, I have to say, I've spent a good deal of my childhood and young adult years, maybe some even adult years, in the Midwest. And mashed potato pizza is not a thing that was ever mentioned that I could remember.
Yeah, I don't know where my family came up with it, but many years ago. I mean, we've probably been doing this for like 15 years now. And that's what we do. We used to do something else, but now we do mashed potato pizza and you put sour cream on it. That's the dipping sauce. And we have a salad that goes with it. And it's lovely. We'll eat a few Christmas cookies and then we'll go to midnight mass.
Well, it kind of feels to me like when you said mashed potato pizza, what pops up into my head is one of my favorite casserole type dinners, which is the shepherd's pie.
Oh, yes.
Okay, and that kind of feels like it's a derivative of shepherd's pie for somebody who didn't have the meat part and just had a pizza crust.
Yeah, maybe. Or it's just some very strange Midwest person that was like, we're going to put mashed potatoes on pizza.
Yeah, they are. And your mom was the one who actually picked up the recipe.
Yeah.
Well,
I mean, you Google it, it's a thing on all recipes.
All right. I mean, and this is why the show exists right here. This is why, it's because I knew that somewhere out there you would have a thing. I didn't guess it was mashed potato pie, but that was the thing. Now, okay, so you do that. You go to midnight mass.
Let's go back to shepherd's pie here. So there's shepherd's pie, and then there's another thing that's like shepherd's pie that uses. So shepherds, what do shepherds?
Sheep, hence
sheep.
the name.
So, and sheep are in the
mutton category.
Pasture.
Yes, and they're in like the lamb family of animals. So when you use
they're
lamb,
ungulates. They are ungulates, aren't they?
Which are the even or odd toad? I'm teaching this right now.
So when you use minced lamb and then you put them into the shepherd's pie concoction, you get a shepherd's pie. But if you use beef, it's a rancher's pie.
Really?
I'll give you
that.
Yeah.
So, we exist to make sure that people call things by their right name.
Yeah.
So a shepherd's pie uses lamb, and then a rancher's pie uses beef.
These are really important
chicken?
Distinctions. Dude, ground
Coops.
chicken?
What?
Coops pie. I don't know. A Cooper
pie. Yeah. Wow.
Chickens live in coops.
I hope no one ever makes such a pie because it would be so terrible.
No. There is a restaurant in Nashville that has, I think they call it rancher's pie, but they use chicken.
Okay, but do they grind? Is it ground chicken or is it like a chicken pot pie?
It's ground. It's not ground chicken. It's like shredded chicken.
Oh, well then it's chicken pot pie.
Well, yes and no, but it's not really chicken pot pie because it's made like shepherd's pie. So it has potatoes on it and it has cheese and it's wonderful.
Yeah.
What about like New Zealand pies?
I don't know what they are. Maybe somebody from New Zealand could tell us what happens.
So you take a pie, you make like a mini pie, and then rather than filling it with like happiness, like Oreo fudge and pumpkin and other things, you fill it with like happiness, like chicken, potatoes, a little bit of broth, and it's cooked so that like you can just be like, hey, I'll go down to the store, I'll grab myself a pie, and then you eat the pie, and rather than it being like a chicken pot pie where all the broth comes out and you then are now burnt, you make a mess, you can just kind of eat it on the go.
Did I have one of those when I was there?
Nice.
Yeah.
What was mine called?
Oh, you got I think we got a chicken curry.
It was very lovely.
Yeah, pies are pretty great, and they're like personal mini happy size.
I love that. That's excellent.
Right.
So when you go to New Zealand, you're gonna eat pies and drink coffee, and you'll pretty much be a local.
All right, so
that's all it takes.
So what do they do now? You were there for a while, and now you're back in the States, Zach. So what did obviously you were not there during Christmas time, but were there discussions of plans was there a harvest festival in the fall?
I don't think I was there late enough in the fall for that. No, there might have been a harvest. I don't know. There's a farmer's market. That's like a harvest festival.
Okay. But and you don't know what they do for Christmas.
But for Christmas, I think a lot of people travel because it's a little nicer weather-wise. So you get the opportunity to go to like Australia and go to the beach if you want to. I don't know why you would travel from New Zealand to Australia when you could just stay in New Zealand.
I hear you. And it's a long distance.
Yeah, it's like it's a 3-hour flight to get to Sydney, and then if you're going, Sydney's fine, but if you want to go to like the far west side of Australia to like Perth, that's like another like 17
days
by car, upside down, factor for gravity. I don't know.
Yeah, it's a big island, big I guess. Okay.
Yes.
All right. So I want to make sure I got this. So you do if I were to show up at Fort Shuddy on Christmas Eve, there would be a mashed potato pizza being embarked upon.
Correct.
And then, but on Christmas Day, during the festivities, Do you guys do like a big breakfast thing, or does everybody kind of
Yep.
graze around? It's like a big brunch?
Yes. So every year we do the same thing. We do egg bowls. So we prep all the food the day before, except for the eggs. So it's if you ever went to like a Bob Evans and they had an egg bowl, it's pretty much a copycat of that. So sometimes we'll make biscuits if people want them on the side, but we'll have hash browns and scrambled eggs and sausage gravy and cheese, and we'll put it all in a bowl and we'll eat that. And then that's kind of like mid-morning, and then we'll graze for lunch. We won't really eat lunch because we'll eat a fairly early dinner, and dinner is usually, I don't know what we're gonna do this year. I'll have to ask my mom. It goes back and forth between steak or ribs. I'm a big fan of steak. I don't care for ribs very much of any kind. I will eat them, but if I had my druthers, I'd have a pork chop. So but my mom cooks a very excellent steak, and we like to tease her because she will grill literally in the snow. It does
Good
not
mom.
matter the
That's a
time
good
of
mom
year.
right there.
Yes, she would survive well in Wisconsin or Minnesota when they're like, oh yeah, you can grill and there's like 5 feet of snow. That's my mom. So yeah, she cooks excellent steak, and we'll do like a baked potato and some salad. Probably would go with that.
Now you're more than anything though. You are a big baker, if I recall correctly.
Yes.
And I've heard a lot of discussions about big foods here. The only baking thing I heard was the general condescension toward pumpkin pie. But so is that a time where you shine with cookies? Are those always on the docket? Are they?
So we actually scaled back our cookies a couple of years ago because my parents couldn't eat a lot of them. We were like, well, we should kind of stay away from so much sugar. So we would still make smaller batches of some of our favorite ones. So
You could just make smaller cookies.
We could.
Then you could eat more, but still have the same number or the same amount.
Actually, it was interesting because most of the cookies that we made weren't actually cookies. It's more candy. We had a Snickers bar that we would make. We had Buckeyes. My dad would make tea time tassies, which nobody else liked, but my dad really likes those.
Tea time tassies.
It's like a really tiny pecan pie, basically.
Okay.
Yeah. So we would do that. I mean, we had a huge amount of cookies that we would make every year, but we ended up scaling it back because we just couldn't eat it all in the time. So
well, you can eat it, and then you turn into gigantic human beings.
I know that
no fun.
we'd feel kind of bad, but we actually spread things out though. So we stopped kind of front loading everything, and we would spread it out. So like I would make cream puffs like a week after Christmas, or so there's a little bit of baking. I haven't done that in a while. Sometimes we make shortbread, which is always really fun. We would do there's an Italian fried cookie recipe. I really like making those. So and pizzelles. I make pizzelles. So
What are pizzelles?
Pizzelles. It's a type of Italian cookie. Usually it's kind of like a waffle press, like a really thin waffle with a cool design on it, and it's flavored with anise traditionally.
Ooh! See, that is the spice. Is that a spice? Would you call it a spice?
No, it's not a spice.
What do you call it? A flavoring? An extract?
Well, anise seed. I think it's a spice.
Oh, I can't do anise. It is just a thing that is. I don't do black licorice, right? Because that's anise.
Well, my mom's so it's interesting. My mom's the same way. She won't touch anise seed.
I like your mom a lot.
Anise flavoring, she will eat these. It's a wonderful texture, and I also make them in vanilla. So I do 2 different kinds. And
vanilla is highly underrated. I think
vanilla is to baking as garlic is to cooking.
Yes, that is 100% agree.
When in doubt, add more.
Yes,
okay.
I love vanilla. Zach, do you make your own vanilla flavoring ever?
No, I'm always hesitant with vanilla because I've baked things for people who are like vanilla sensitive.
Oh, I've never heard of that.
They're like they when they taste the vanilla, it's like the overbearing taste that they get, even if it's just like a light thing. So I've kind of adjusted some recipe, which is vanilla is a good flavor, but yes. I think we all know like vanilla and too much gets to be especially like a vanilla extract flavor, not like a vanilla ice cream. Those are 2 very different flavor profiles. But with vanilla extract or paste or whatever it is, it's just like, I'm a big fan of just like, we'll pour some in. Does it smell right? Okay, we're good.
Yes. Yep.
But it's a good thing to like, again, like understanding how to use vanilla as a baker is the same way that chefs understand how to use garlic when making meals, and it's just
I
an
would agree with that.
enhancer, but it can get to the point where you add too much and it can unfortunately dilute the end product.
Yeah, it's just supposed to be there to make the flavor richer or deeper or add another note to it.
Wow. All right. So do you buy the vanilla, the fruit, the bean?
I
and
have
cut it
on
open and
occasion.
scrape the stuff out?
Yeah, I actually right now have I went to make. I was like, oh, I'm gonna make vodka sauce. This was a couple of weeks ago, and I went to pull my my vodka bottle out of the pantry. I completely forgotten that somebody had given me 3 vanilla beans as a gift, and so I had cut them open and put them in my bottle of vodka. And I was making my own, and I completely forgot it was in the pantry. And I was like, well, I guess I will not be making vodka sauce tonight. But I have vanilla extract in my pantry.
All right. No. Okay. So you put it in the vodka to flavor the vodka?
Yes, it turns it. So if you leave it for long enough, that's what vanilla extract is. It's just vanilla beans in some kind of liquor, usually vodka. But Trader Joe's sells a really good, I think it's like a bourbon vanilla. That was very good. I used that for a while.
Wow.
Yeah.
See, you should be here more often to teach me all these wonderful things. Right?
What do you think I'm here for?
Well, you're there for the paint cans in the back there.
I was saying, Zach probably knows this already.
He knows a lot. Well, yeah, he was looking at it like, yeah, he knew. Okay, so what is vodka sauce? It's like sauce made with
type of sauce that Italians use. So you take vodka and like tomato sauce, and the vodka enriches the tomato sauce that gives you like a rich. So rather than just having like a default tomato sauce when you're Italian food, if you want something a little bit richer, you add in a little bit of vodka, you cook off the alcohol, and then you kind of have a little bit, rather than using water to emulsify, you use vodka, which is chemistry. Something.
Yep, exactly.
Wow. Okay.
Very good.
Okay. So that gets us to Christmas. And then now, what about, do you do a New Year's Eve thing? Do you have a big feast? Some people have feasts on these things, or they go to parties, you just hang out?
No, we just hang out. We'll play games usually. We'll play games. Yeah.
We started a thing when Zach was little and his siblings were little, because they were all little together because they're all siblings. We would wake them up like 10 minutes till midnight because we'd send them to bed on time. And I promised I would wake them up. And then of course that was always impossible to do because they were asleep at that point. But we'd get them up and we would have ice cream as the ball would drop. And then they would fall asleep in their ice cream bowls and we put them back in bed. And then they would ask if they got up the next morning. They were like, did you wake me up? And they would generally tend to forget. So that was our big New Year's thing.
I love that. Yeah. Yep.
Ice cream to start the new year with a bowl of ice cream is a big plus. Do you do a Saint Nick thing?
Oh my goodness, yes. Saint Nick.
See, I knew that. I knew you would. That's
How did you know? I love Saint Nick's. It is probably my favorite. We celebrated most of the feasts in December. Those are big for us. But that one in particular is very, very near and dear to my heart. For many years, my parents hosted a Saint Nick's party, and we would invite families from our community that had small children, and they would come, and the house would be all dark. We would light everything by candles upstairs or lamps, and we would take all the kids to the basement, and then one of our really good priest friends would play Saint Nick. So he and my dad and brother, who were his like servers, they would go to the backyard while we had all the kids in the basement. So for many years we actually had kids in our community that thought that Saint Nicholas lived in our backyard.
Nice.
Because we would call them all up and we would sing the song. My mom would say, oh my goodness, I hear something, someone is coming. Who is that coming? We would be freezing because it was really cold, and we'd go stand on the back deck and sing them in. And before,
is there a special bringing in the sheaves, bringing in Saint Nick kind of song?
Yes, and I can't remember. We finish with "It Came Upon a Midnight Clear," but with verses about Saint Nicholas. I can't remember what we bring him into now. I'll have to. All the song sheets are my parents. I'll have to look.
Yep.
But then beforehand, all of the parents will have emailed or texted my mom all of the either what they want their kids to work on as a family or individually sometimes. So Saint Nick will come in, he'll tell a little bit about himself, and then he'll start calling up families. And then he will have this book in front of him with all of their sins written in it. And so they
So
will
like a public confession kind of.
sort of.
Wow.
They're not. They don't get ever mean or anything. But
Yes,
he will
yes,
say,
yes.
"Oh, so and so, I have heard. My angels have heard that you didn't
Are not
work
nice to your
on
sister or something.
exactly,
Yeah.
or you could do better cleaning up your room, or let's say."
Okay.
But then he always follows it up with either the individual or as a family. Oh, but also I heard that you were doing this really well, and thank you for that. And just they get both something to work on, something that that someone noticed that they're doing well. And so then he would give us a blessing, and then we would sing, and he would leave, and then the kids, we'd take them all back downstairs, and my siblings and I and some of our friends, we would put on a show. So we've done everything from a shadow puppet show to an actual puppet show to a full-on acted out show, something from the life of St. Nicholas, of some Christmas picture book, and then that would give father time to change, like get back in the house and change, and then everyone would have brought food. So my mom makes cinnamon raisin bread every year. We have this spiced cider that she makes, and then everybody else will have brought food, and we'll all just celebrate for a while. We'll sing Christmas songs, kids will play, and that is one of my absolute favorite Christmas time, like Advent and Christmas time memories and traditions.
So that would have been a big group there. There would have been dozens of children.
Like dozens of children, like 50 people crammed in our house. Our house is not a large house, and it was just the best thing ever.
That is wonderful, because that's why you do the joy in your retelling is the reason why your parents did that.
Yes.
Right. And that is well, that's a wonderful thing. We never went that extravagant. There were little gifts. Zach, did you have to put your shoes out by your door? Was that a thing? Did mom make you do that?
Oh yeah, so you guys did shoes?
Yeah,
did shoes
by our door.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and
we
then
always
you
did
get
stockings. So
you get a little something, like you might get, like, I don't know, a bottle opener. Or,
we get socks.
No, you get. What would you get, Zach? A little bag of candy or something?
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
We didn't get bottle openers. Okay. Okay. And then at St. Pat's, did you ever do St. Patrick's Day stuff?
Yes, a little bit. So my dad would. When we were really little, he would put milk or he would do green food coloring in the bottom of a glass and like say a prayer and fill it up and be like, oh my gosh, the milk's green. And I couldn't figure out how he did it for years because I was a particularly bright child. So I was like, oh my gosh. So it took a while for me to catch on to that. But then probably my favorite thing we ever did for St. Patrick's Day was 3 years ago. I had started a glee club, and so St. Joseph's Day and St. Patrick's Day one of St. Joseph's feasts and St. Patrick's Day are very close to each other in March.
2 days apart. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. St. Patrick's on the 17th, St. Joseph's on the 19th. And the way the timing worked out that year, we decided we were going to do a fundraiser for a local school that was getting started, classical school. And my glee club, my brother-in-law, a couple of months before had said, wouldn't it be really awesome if we kind of like reclaim St. Patrick's Day and did some kind of concert, because I was running this glee club at the time. And I said, absolutely. So we did. We turned that concert into this fundraiser, and we combined St. Joseph's Day and St. Patrick's Day. And we had this amazing, my mom and her friend made Irish stew for 200 people. And we did this. My dad and his brother were our MCs, and we turned the church basement into this kind of bar, this old time bar. And everybody sat at these long tables. Nobody knew what they were in for except for us who had planned it. And they were our MCs, and my dad had built this bar, and they were standing there. And then we had all these different acts. Some people recited a poem. We had some people over here that would sing this duet. And then the whole glee club got together and we sang Dulamon. And we had, there was a Monty Python sketch that somebody did. And I mean,
so it was like a vaudeville show. Yeah.
Exactly. And that's what I wanted it to be like. If you're at a bar and you're having a drink and somebody in the corner is like, Seamus, I had this idea. And he gets up and he declaims. And then somebody else is like, yeah, well, I've got this story. And then another guy stands up in another place and he starts to sing a song, and then a bunch of people get it. So that's what I wanted it to be like, and that's what it was like. So that's not something we have done every year, but that's my favorite memory that's connected to St. Patrick's Day.
Wow. All right. Man, I'm gonna have to ask you. We're gonna have to have you on for every holiday to tell people what they're supposed to be working on.
We celebrate a lot of holidays.
Well, that's a wonderful thing. That's a wonderful thing. All right, we are getting close to end. We're getting close to end time here. I'm going to ask both of you, Zach, we're going to have to go. Have you go first. Like, what is your go-to festival celebration thing that you look forward to yearly? Now, it could be like you look forward to the All Australian Rules rugby final, or you look whatever it is. But what's the annual thing that drives you, that it's on your list?
I mean, I like playing board games with people on holidays. So that I don't know. I'm simple. Like, I want to play board games with people.
All right. That's it.
Yeah.
Any holiday, any game.
Not people. Any game. Well, good games.
Good games. Not Shoots and Ladders and Candyland are out.
Yeah, Monopoly's out. Unless you have a really good group and you all agree to some certain egregious house rules.
Yes, we did that one time. We got in trouble, if I remember correctly.
We got in trouble for a lot of other things.
Yeah, a lot of those things. All right, Sarah, I'm going to bounce it back to you. What's your should not miss holiday tradition thing?
Celebrating Advent, I think. I love Christmas, and besides the fact that I think my birthday should be a national holiday,
don't we all? Yes.
My family teases me about this. I love celebrating Advent, and every year for many years, my mom would always do these really beautiful and special things with us for all of Advent. My dad had these prayers that he would read before meals, and then we had all these books that we would read that would just take us through that season. So we knew that Christmas was coming. We were excited about that, but we were so excited about what we were doing, all the books, the Christmas and Advent books and stories and things that we were reading to kind of prepare for that, the high celebration. That's what I always look forward to every year, because oftentimes I have my own collection of those books now, but even now, like over Thanksgiving this year, I'll be back home, and so my mom and I will do all of the book prep. She's got, oh my goodness, like well over 150 books, and we separate those all out into piles for my younger siblings who are still at home, and every day of Advent they get to open one of those stacks of books, and we've curated those stacks. So like if it's St. Nicholas Day, all of the St. Nicholas books will go in that stack, and for St. Lucy's Day, those go there. The Tommy DePaolo or Lady Guadalupe goes on the 12th, and then all of our Fontanini goes in the Advent calendar, and so I will still get to help her with that. So I just really love Advent and all the traditions. So it's a bit broad, but
well, that's a good one. That's I have come to really look forward, and I feel bad I missed it this year because I was not around, but I've come to really like the All Saints Day and what they do for All Saints Day here at the local school when the children in the 4th grade dress up as their saint. That is, I did an episode on that a year and a half ago, whenever that was, and it was it is a wonderfully moving celebration of infinitude of the variety of the good. There's so many ways to do good, and they put on this little pageant of all of their little saints, and it is a remarkably good thing to do for children, to give them those kinds of role models. And that is when I was very, I don't want to say I was despondent this year, but I was upset when I had to miss it, and because it's become a thing I've really liked. But man, I can get into Christmas any day of the week. Thanksgiving is a wonderful one because I think it's important to do what we do, and you can't give thanks without someone to thank, and that's an important thing to do. So with that, I'm going to wrap it up. Zach, thank you again. All right, thumbs up. Sarah, thank you again for coming, for being a 3-time big brain smart head. Like I said, when the shirts are printed, you will get one. And like I said, we really appreciate you taking your time to be with us here tonight.
Absolutely. Thank you guys so much for having me.
And the rest of you, you know the shtick there. Seek the good, live virtuously, and flourish, and enjoy the adventure of life.
It's going to be a great day.